Hi everyone, my name's Jody. I'm a licensed professional counselor out of Eugene, Oregon. And last night I got a text from a friend who asked if I would make a video and just kind of share some thoughts and maybe some encouragement for people during this time. And I told her I'd think about it. So I did, and I realized I actually have a lot to say. So I made a list of topics and since, I got more free time these days, I thought, why not take on a little video project? So, um, I am going to start with this video today. My goal is to have it 4 minutes or less so that you all can get back to your very, very busy quarantine schedules. I don't want to take up too much time. So, I'm going to talk today about resilience, and then uh, I've got my schedule for the week. Tomorrow I'm going to share a poem. I have some thoughts about anxiety and then compassion. And then I have a challenge I'm calling the Notting Hill Challenge, which I'll explain Wednesday. I have some thoughts about hope, and then I will see if anyone participates in the Notting Hill Challenge. And if so, then I'm going to do a little giveaway. So, yeah, you know what? I'm just trying to find some things to do with all this amazing time that I have. Oh, I almost forgot. This is Daisy. Daisy is participating in this video by sitting in my lap and offering her positive, encouraging thoughts. Right, Daisy? Okay, she's going to go back to sleep now. Okay, so I want to share with you guys a quote today. This is from Elizabeth Gilbert, and I heard it about a year ago, actually, on a podcast. And she was talking about her partner, Rhea, who she was with for years. They were best friends for years, and then they were in a relationship for years. And this woman passed away from cancer. And so this was, I would guess, about 8 months after Rhea had died. And this is what Elizabeth Gilbert said about that on this podcast. So here we go. She said, "There was a life that I could only have with Rhea, and that life is gone and is completely denied to me, and I cannot have it, and that life was amazing. And now there is a life that I can only have without her, that I never could have done, I never could have done had she lived, and what is that life? And do I have the courage to find that one?" So that quote, just as I listened to her be interviewed, that just stopped me in my tracks. I hit pause, rewound. I listened to it over and over again. I wrote it down. I had my husband listen to it. I just thought that's absolutely amazing. The idea that in the midst of this huge loss and grief and life never being the same, that somebody can get to a place even within a year where they're able to say, things on the other side of that didn't exist to me had this horrible thing not happened. So on the other side, I have all these opportunities, or I have this life, and there's a lot of beauty and amazing things in this life that wouldn't have existed had this horrible tragedy not happened. That is probably one of the most resilient things I have ever heard. So I was thinking about that right now as we are all going through a lot of grief and loss and fear, trying to figure out what it's going to look like on the other side of this. And many people have already had a lot of loss. I have clients that have lost jobs. I have friends that have lost jobs. There's a lot of changes and a lot of scary things happening right now. And at the same time, there are things that we now have access to, that we now have in our lives that we wouldn't have had we not been in this situation. And we hadn't gone through this. So I think part of resiliency is being able to see those things. So it's hard and it takes intention, because it's much easier to focus on the stuff that is not going well or the loss that we have. But it is truth that your life today has things in it that it wouldn't have had weeks ago that are good. So find those things. For me, it's a lot more time with my kids. I have 4 teenagers, and I don't know the last time, if ever, I spent a Friday night doing a puzzle with a teenager, and I did that last night. Dance parties in the kitchen have, been kicked up to a lot more often. And there's just a slowness right now that I'm appreciating that wouldn't have existed before. So that's helping me right now get through this. And I don't know what the other side of this is going to look like, and I don't know what it's going to look like in 3 or 4 months. But I do know there will be things then that exist that are good that wouldn't have existed had we not gone through this pandemic. So those are my thoughts about resiliency today. I believe absolutely, without a doubt, I've already gone over my 4 minutes, you guys. I'm sorry. That human beings are resilient. I have heard stories in my work that have moved me to tears about the ability for humans to handle suffering and to come out even better on the other side. So that's my hope for this. Oh, that gives me another idea for another video about the lessons in all of this, because I already have quite a few. So there you go. There's another video. Okay, Daisy and I have to go now because we have very big plans. This is our 5th cup of coffee, right? And we need to have this. And then what do you think, Days? Yeah, we're going to go do some reading and maybe another walk. So, you know, it's a big life. Okay, we wish you all well. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk about a poem. Okay.